From has been renewed for a third season.
We're secure!
And this about time they made the announcement. It was almost like they were trying to keep the news in a root cellar stuck under a rock. Seasons 1 and 2 both provided a ton of mystery, clues, and 2 cliffhangers that had us all rewatching the entire series to see what we may have missed. And if From wouldn't have been renewed for a third season, I'm sure fans would have. And MGM Plus subs would have dropped faster than a rope off Colony House. But since we get a season 3, my magnifying glass will be on deck while we sit through the clue-clustered TV show that is From. So without further ado, let's pull out those magnifying glasses and examine this footage. In this video, we're going to be speaking about cycles. In the last scene of the finale, I noticed those 2 cups on the counter in Tabitha's room, one yellow and one blue. I brought this up in my finale video and briefly mentioned the usage of the colors in the first scene with Jade's blue bike up against the yellow house. And the usage of blue and yellow was riddled throughout this entire episode. In many cases, yellow symbolizes the sun or heat, and often blue is associated with water and cool. Combining the two create the color green, which is often associated with life or a cycle. The cup is a symbol of divine feminine energy and is in the shape of a womb, which is also connected to the crescent moon. I stated before that Julie will be vital in the communication between Tabitha and Fromland. And the divine feminine symbolism also appeared with Julie and Fatima in season 1. Fatima took Julie upstairs to see the crescent moon out of the window. And when we look at the last episode, Tabitha pulls back the drapes and looks out the window as the sun beams on her like the moon beamed on Julie. And here's a little something for you skeptics that think the divine feminine symbolism is a reach. How about Tabitha being thrown from a tower, which is an obvious phallic symbol? And a female falling from a phallic symbol also represents a cycle. This video is going to be full of cycles. You might want to hold on. In my last video, I spoke about the connection to the gears in the tower, the gears in the music box, and the gears in Jade's watch. Quick shout out to Taran. He left a comment saying that Randall can be also spotted wearing the watch. However, Randall's watch was a digital watch and wouldn't have the same type of gear mechanism inside. But bro was just answering the question because I asked if anybody had seen anyone else wearing a watch. So shout out to him. Well, the gears are responsible for the precession or cycle of each respective mechanism. In other words, when the watch, music box, and lighthouse turn, they complete a cycle. That takes us right back to Jade's blue bicycle, which reminds me of how they put out the spike strips and how Ethan points out all of the tires are flat in town. Now, for most people, a flat tire can represent an unexpected obstacle, a loss of control, and on the surface level, it could just mean time for a change. Let's just say for our residents, it hopefully means the breaking of a cycle. Now, as far as I can see, I think Tabitha has made it out. Dr. Brody claimed that Tabitha was found by 2 hikers near a trail, not in a car crash, not in an RV with her family, and definitely not in Arizona from where she went missing. Tabitha was pushed from the tower out of a portal to another place and survived the fall like Bran Stark from Game of Thrones. It looks like she hit a bunch of trees on the way down. You could see all of the trees below the tower. It's not like it was a cliff or anything. And speaking of below the tower, if the town has electric, why does the lighthouse tower use a fire? Why not an electric light? It uses fire just like the torch that transported Boyd. If breaking the glass of the tower transported Tabitha and lighting the torch did the same for Boyd, then what would extinguishing the fire at the tower do? Boyd said that the forest was magical. Could the tower be magical too? When the bus pulls into the diner, Tom says the magical tower must have summoned them. I know he was referring to the radio antenna, but why would the writers make him say that if the radio tower project was totally scientific? Again, I have to put this out there. If the writers are not doing these things intentionally, I am available to join the writing team for future seasons. Here's something else I noticed. If Chris was the guy that did something that resulted in many people being killed, then why would Victor put Eloise's drawings in the trunk of that man's car? This is the guy who your mother told you to hide from. Are there any details about Chris that he may have made himself forget, like with Eloise? Also, if the last time Victor saw his mother and sister was in the root cellar, when did Eloise tell Victor his mother went to the bottle tree? Victor also said that his mother told him that the bottle tree was special. How many bottle trees are there, and who was hanging the bottles? We know that there are at least 2 bottle trees. The tree that Boyd and Sarah approached is not the same tree that Tabitha used. The one they came to was not a faraway tree, and whatever drugged them through the woods was close by and took them close to the tower. The spiderweb tree was close to the tower as well. Here's another one. If Victor's mother was wearing the bracelet when she left Victor, and Victor is who found her body near the bottle tree, how did the bracelet end up in the storage room? If he kept her violin, you would think he'd keep her bracelet too, right? Jim's wearing the bracelet now, and in the finale, Ethan asked about his grandfather, and Jim uses the hand that he's wearing the bracelet with to gently pat Ethan on the leg. The only 2 things that we know for sure that have been in and out of this place is the bracelet and its maker, Tabitha. No mention on how the stones and brass that was used to decorate the bracelet come into play, but the brass decor looks very similar to the ring that Fatima fashioned for Ellis, who is responsible for stopping Fatima's cycle. Y'all had to see that one coming. I told you there'd be a lot of cycles today. Also, what are these stories about the Civil War soldiers? And how long were Victor's family there? Victor's mother seemed to know about multiple faraway trees because, again, she said that this one was special. And I'm sure that being a faraway tree, but also a bottle tree, is what makes it special. Someone decided to start capturing spirits with a faraway tree. I'm willing to bet that those individuals are responsible for the bottle trees and the talismans. Whoever it was didn't fear the slow walkers and were about that life when it came to trapping evil spirits. Not to mention that they probably lived in those woods. Kind of gives you Native American vibes. These individuals are probably responsible for trapping a much larger entity and creating this interwoven Dreamtime battleground. When Ellis is fully healed, will he put hands on Dale? Will Tilly be able to get up from this position on the floor? Will Victor finally have a comeback for Ethan now that it looks like it's his mother who won't be coming back anytime soon? Will Tabitha bring back some lace fronts for the ghoulish, mangy kids? Should Kenny just shoot his shot with somebody from the bus already? How did Donna's forehead heal so quickly? Is Elgin done with his custom line of crochet leg warmers? All of these questions and much more on the next episode of Guiding Light. Just a little something to think about while we wait on the next episode. Okay, that's my video for today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.